Shall we start the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday we have seen different aspects of the bills of exchange and how to write journal entries in the books of the drawer and the drawing. Now let us have what is it? Illustrative problems in bills of exchange. Okay. So the first option with the drawer is when drawer holds the bill till due date. Yesterday we have seen when drawer holds the bill until due date. There are four options. The first option is when drawer holds the bill until due date. Now let us see the problem. Bills retained by drawer and the bill met. So the bill is retained till the due date and at last the bill will be met. Now let us see this problem. In January 2020, Mr. A sold goods to Mr. B for rupees 20,000 on credit. Here A sold goods to B for 20,000 on credit. Okay. On the same day, Mr. A drew 3 months bill on Mr. B, who accepted them and returned the same to Mr. A. Okay. So here, these goods were sold on credit. As these goods are sold on credit, he has drawn a bill on Mr. B, and Mr. B in turn has accepted them and returned to Mr. A. The bill was rupees 20,000. So on the due date, the bill is honored by Mr. B. So on the due date, this B has paid the amount of rupees 20,000. So the bill is honored on the due date. Now you have to pass the journal entries in the books of A and B. Now let us see the journal entries in the books of A. So journal entries. So Mr. A. Okay. So you know how to write a journal entry. First is you have to write the date, particulars or details, LF ledger folio, debit, credit. Okay. So in January 2020. So date is not mentioned. We have to assume that it is on January 1st. January 1st, 2020. So A sold goods to B for rupees 20,000 on credit. So it is not cash sales, it is credit sales. A sold goods to B. So you have to write the transaction as B account debtor. Debtor how much? 20,000. 20,000 to sales account. To sales account. 20,000. 20,000. You have to write the narration as goods sold on credit. Goods sold on credit. Got it? Is it okay for you? So on January 1st, 2020, A has sold goods to B. So in the books of the drawer, that is Mr. A, you have to write the journal entry as B account debtor to sales account. B account debtor 20,000, you have to debit it. To sales, you have to write 20,000 on credit. So goods sold on credit. Now let us see the other journal entry. That is, on the same day, Mr. A drew 3 months bill on Mr. B, who accepted them and returned the same to A. Okay. So this A has drew 3 months bill. So for that, you have to write the journal entry as January 1st. January 1st, on the same day, January 1st, 2020, a bills receivable account debtor, 20,000 to B account. B account. Okay. That is 20,000. 20,000. Okay. So acceptance received, as the B accepted the bill and returned the same to Mr. A, you have to write acceptance received for 3 months. 3 months. Acceptance received for 3 months. Okay. You got this? Next one. Next. See, the bill was for 20,000. On the due date, the bill is honored by Mr. B. So on the due date, the bill is honored by Mr. B. Now you have to count the dates. So January 1st, from January 1st to February 1st, 1 month. February 1st to March 1st, 2 months. March 1st to April 1st, 2 months. So 3 months. So on April 1st, you have completed the 3 months. So now you can hear my voice. Now can you hear my voice?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you explain the second one again, please?
Second one. That
Yes,
means
ma'am.
second one means bills receivable account debtor
Yeah,
to
ma'am.
B account.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. I'll share that PPT now.
Okay.
See now. First one you got it. Okay. Second one. Mr. A drew 3 months bill on Mr. B, who accepted them and returned the same to Mr. A. So on the same day means on January 1st, A drew 3 months bill on Mr. B. Okay. In between, please do not disturb me. So on the same day, Mr. A drew 3 months bill on Mr. B, who accepted them and returned the same to Mr. A. That means here you have to write journal entry as on January 1st. As you are drawing the bill on Mr. B, we call that as bills receivable. When you drew a bill on the other person, here you are in a position to get the amount from the other person. Then you have to write it as bills receivable. Bills receivable account. Bills receivable account. Debtor. How much is the amount? 20,000. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
20,000. On whom bill is drawn? On whom the bill is drawn? On A. B.
B.
The bill is drawn on B. So A is preparing the bill, and this
Ma'am,
he has
what is
accepted
BR?
the bills receivable.
Okay.
Okay, bills receivable. For bills receivable, you will be writing this as like this, and if it is bills payable, you'll be writing as
BP.
like this. Okay.
Ma'am, it is a general entry of Mr. A.
Journal entry of Mr. A. I am writing
Okay.
all these entries in the books of Mr. A.
Okay.
So after completing this, I will start with Mr. B.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the second journal entry where the bill is drawn on B, and the bill is accepted by B, and it is returned back to Mr. A. So you have to write the narration as acceptance received for 3 months. How many months? 3 months. Acceptance received. Okay. Acceptance received for 3 months. You got it?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Now I'm clearing this. Then I'm going to the another journal, another transaction, wherein the bill is met. What? What is that? So on the due date, the bill is honored by Mr. B. Past journal entries in the books of Mr. A and B. So 2 journal entries have already been passed, and the last journal entry is on the due date, the bill is honored by Mr. B. Okay. So on the due date means how to calculate it. So from January, you have to calculate 3 months. So it is a 3 months bill. January 1st January to 1st February. How much? 1 month.
1 month.
Okay. Next. 1st February to 1st March. 1st March, 1 month. Okay. 1st March to 1st April. 1 month. 3 months. Okay. So April 1st is the due date. But here we have to add 3 days as grace days to April 1st. So when you add 3 days to April 1st, the due date will be on April 4th. April 4th. Did you got this?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay for you? So
Okay,
you have
ma'am.
to calculate from January 1st, 3 months, 1st January to 1st February, 1 month, plus 1st February to 1st March, 2 months, 1st March to 1st April, 3 months. April 1st. So you have to add 3 days, as I have already explained in the previous classes. So to the due date, you have to add 3 days as grace days. So the due date the maturity date will come on April 4th. Now you have to pass the journal entry on April 4th. That means on the due date. On the due date means April 4th. The bill is honored by Mr. P. Now I'm passing the journal entry. You see it. April 4th. April 4th. Cash account debtor. How much is the amount? 20,000. To bills receivable account. 20,000. Amount of bill received. Being amount of bill received. Being amount of bill received. Is it okay for you?
Yes, ma'am.
So these are the 3 entries you have to pass in the journal of Mr. A. Okay. Now let us see the journal of Mr. B. Is it okay for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now in the books of B. The books of B. So journal of Mr. B. You have to write. Okay.
Ma'am, can you make boxes and show the general entry in a proper way, ma'am? Because like this, we can't understand.
Okay. So this is date. You have to write the heading as journal of Mr. B. You write that. Okay.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
show
I'm
the
telling the
format.
same thing that you just make a box and showing that, ma'am.
Okay. So these are the particulars. Ledger folio, debit, credit. So like this, you have to prepare the form. This is the format of journal entries. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Date. So on the date, you have to write 2020, January 1st. When date is mentioned, you have to write that date. But if here date is not mentioned, just in January 2020, you may not be knowing the date. So in that case, you have to assume that it is on January 1st. Okay. Now, January 1st. So I'm writing the journal entries in the books of B. So purchases account. So B have purchased goods from A. So purchases account debtor. How much? 20,000 to A account. A account 20,000. Okay, 20,000. Now you have to write the narration as goods purchased. Goods purchased on credit. Goods purchased on credit. Sometimes the writing may not be visible for you. You just listen properly. Goods purchased on credit. Goods purchased on credit. So B have purchased goods from A. Now in the books of journal entries of B, you have to write purchases account debtor 20,000 to A account. So A is the creditor. So A is the person who have sold goods on credit. So here you have to write the narration as goods purchased on credit. Okay. Is it okay for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay.
Now I'm going to the next entry. That is here B have accepted the bill and returned the same to A. Now you have to pass a journal entry on this. So I'm writing the journal entry. Date. See, you have for every entry you may not be writing all these. And once you have written this date particulars, you have to continue with. But here the space is not sufficient for me to write all this. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, you can continue with this. Can continue with the same entry. At the starting, you have to write all these particulars, and right, you have to continue line by line. Okay. So on January 1st, 2020, already you have mentioned the year 2020. So we need not always mention 2020. At the starting first entry, you have mentioned 2020. So it continues to other entries. January 1st. So here has accepted the bill that was drawn on him by Mr. A. Now A account debtor 20,000 to bills payable. Now you have to write it as like this, bills payable account, or else you can write in full form, bills payable account 20,000. 20,000. So you have to write the narration as acceptance given for 3 months. Acceptance given for 3 months. Okay. You got this? When
Yes,
bill
ma'am.
is drawn on Mr. B and it is returned back to Mr. A, then you have to pass a journal entry as A account debtor. So this is A account debtor to bills receivable account. You have to give a narration as acceptance given for 3 months. Now I'm going to the another entry. Next. So on the due date, the bill is honored by Mr. B. So on the due date, this B have given cash to Mr. A. Okay. So April 1st, April 4th. So on the due date, in the last entries, we have calculated the due date. So due date comes on April 4th. April 4th. Bills payable account. Bills payable account debtor to cash account. Cash account. Bills payable account debtor 20,000 and bills to cash account 20,000 being cash paid to A. So on the due date, the bill is met. Bill met. Okay. The due date, the bill is met. Is it okay for you? Okay or not? Come on, respond.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay, okay.
Now, the journal entries for A and B are over for this type of illustration. So bill retained by drawer and bill met. So in that case, you have to pass all these journal entries. Now let us go to another case. Now this is another case. Bill retained by drawer, bill dishonored. Bill retained by drawer, bill dishonored. So in the last case, we have seen bill. The last case we have seen bill retained by drawer and bill met. Now in this case, we shall see bill retained by the drawer and the bill is dishonored. So when the drawee fails to pay the amount on the due date, then the bill gets dishonored. The last theory class I have explained to you what is dishonoring of the bill. So when drawee fails to pay the bill on the due date, then the bill gets dishonored. Now let us see the problem. So Mr. B purchased goods on credit from Mr. A for rupees 15,000 in April 2020. So Mr. B purchased goods on credit from Mr. A for rupees 15,000 in April 2020. Mr. A drew a bill of exchange on Mr. B on the same day for the same amount, which was duly accepted by B and returned to Mr. A. So on the same day, like the last problem, A drew a bill of exchange on Mr. B, and on the same day, this B have accepted and returned the bill to A. After signing the bill, have returned the bill to A. On the due date, Mr. A presented the bill to Mr. B, who returned the bill dishonored. So on the due date, has presented the bill to B to honor the bill. That means on the due date, the B has to pay the amount to A, but he returned the bill dishonored. So he failed to pay the amount on the due date. Now you have to pass the journal entries in the books of both the parties. Okay. Now tell me what are the journal entries you have to pass on in the books of A. So when goods are sold to Mr. B, what is the journal entry you have to write? So now let me know how far you can write this entry.
Ma'am, once again, explain the question, ma'am.
So B purchased goods on credit from Mr. A. That means
Okay.
A have sold goods to B.
Mr. B. On
So
credit.
it is not a cash transaction. It is a credit transaction wherein B have not paid the amount on the purchase of goods on the same day.
Okay, ma'am.
So A drew a bill of exchange on Mr. B on the same day for the same amount. So on the same day, A drew a bill of exchange. As it is a credit transaction, he drew a bill of exchange on Mr. B for the same amount. Same amount means how much is the amount? 15,000.
15,000.
15,000. So which was duly accepted by B and returned to Mr. A.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
it was duly accepted by B and returned to A. So here I did not mention how many months. So let us take it as a 3 months bill. Okay. Assume it as 3 months bill. Actually, I have to write the amount, write the date, 3 months bill. So assume it as 3 months bill. So on the same day, it was duly accepted by Mr. B and returned to Mr. A. And so acceptance was received by A. So on the due date, Mr. A presented the bill. So after 3 months, this Mr. A have presented the bill to Mr. B to pay the amount. But on the due date, this Mr. B did not pay the amount. So he failed to pay the amount, and as a result, the bill was dishonored.
Okay.
Now you have to pass the journal entries in the books of A and in the books of B. First two entries can be written by you. You can write the two entries as I have already explained in the previous problem. So when goods are sold to the other person, for example, when goods are sold to A, now you have to write a journal entry as A account data to, B account data to sales account. So in the last problem, you have written that. Is it okay?
Okay,
Yes.
ma'am.
So now
When the
Yes, ma'am.
the general
What,
entry,
ma'am?
what would be the
Journal
general entry? B account debited to purchase account.
sales account.
Sales
So
account.
you are writing the journal entries in the books of A. So A is the drawer.
Yes.
So when A is the drawer, you have to write B account data to sales account.
Sales account. Being goods
Sales account.
sold on credit.
Okay. In goods sold on credit. Okay,
Credit.
right. Next. Let us see the another one. So A drew a bill of exchange on Mr. B on the same day for the same amount, which was duly accepted by Mr. B and returned to Mr. A. So what is the entry you have to pass now?
Bills receivable account data to B's account data.
Yes, very good. Bills receivable account data to B account. What is the narration?
Being B acceptance received.
Okay, acceptance received
Received.
for 3 months. Write it as 3 months.
Okay, ma'am.
Next. Now the bill got dishonored. On the on the due date, Mr. A presented the bill to Mr. B, who returned the bill dishonored. Now, what is the entry you have to pass?
Cash account debited
B's
to
account data to bills receivable account.
Yes, very good. Oh, you are right. You following my class. Very good.
Yeah, ma'am.
B account debtor.
To bills receivable account.
Yeah, yes. B account debtor to bills receivable
Receivable
account.
account.
So you have to write narration as bill
Received.
dishonored.
bill
Bill
dishonored.
is being dishonored. So what are the
Accepting
dates
bill.
you have to mention? So when date is not mentioned, you have to assume it as April 1st. In April 2020. In April 2020 means you have to mention it as, assume it as April 1st. So from April 1st, you have to calculate 3 months. April 1st to March 1st, 1 month, March 1st to June 1st, 2 months, June 1st to July 1st, 3 months. So the due date is
March, April.
July 1st plus 3 days.
3 days.
July 4.
Yeah, yes, July 4th. You have
4.
to mention the date. July 4th.
4.
From in the third journal entry, July 4th, ma'am.
Yes, you have to write as July 4th. First two journal entries you have to write as April 1st.
April 1st.
On the due date means you have to calculate it and you have to write the date, July 4th. Now coming to the books of B.
B.
So what are the entries you have to pass in the books of B? So B purchase goods on credit from
Account data to
what, ma'am?
Purchases account data.
Purchases account data to A's
Yes,
account.
purchase account data to
B's
A
account.
account.
A account, sir.
account.
15,000.
You have to write the narration as goods purchased on credit. Very good. Next journal entry. When
Being
acceptance sent to
credit.
being goods purchased on credit. Now coming to the next entry. Next entry means A drew a bill of exchange on Mr. B on the same day for the same amount, which was duly accepted by Mr. B and returned to
And return
Bills payable
No.
account.
A account
A's
data
account
to
data to bills payable account.
yes, very good. Now give the narration.
Being acceptance sent.
Amount.
Okay. Being acceptance given for 3 months. Okay. Coming to the dishonor of the bill. So dishonor of the bill, July 4. July 4. Give the journal entry.
Bills
Bills payable account data to Ace
Ah.
account.
Yes, good. Bills payable account data to Ace
A
account.
account.
Okay. You got this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, what could be the narration? Being cash paid to?
Here you are not paying any cash. We failed to pay the cash.
Being acceptance due this date dishonor.
It is dishonored. So you have to write this entry. Bills payable account data to A
Cash.
account. That's all. So if
Being
cash is paid,
acceptance
then you
dishonor.
have to write as cash. Okay. So here you are not paying any cash. So you have to write the bills payable account data to A account.
Yes.
Is it okay for you?
Yeah, ma'am.
Now let us go to the another option. So the first option is when drawer retains the bill till the due date, and on the due date when it may be a dishonored, may be met or dishonored. So you have seen the two options. Okay. Now let us see the another option when drawer discounts the bill with bank. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
When drawer discounts the
Bill.
bill. Now, so discounted bill is met. So when the drawer is in cash, so he will be present. Bank will charge some interest. That interest we call it as discount. Okay. So he may not be
Okay.
getting the full amount. The bank will be discounting at a certain percentage. So that percentage will be deducted and the amount will be given to the drawer. Now let us see this problem. So discounted bill met. So the bill was discounted and this bill was met by the drawer. So on January 1st, 2019, John sold goods to David for rupees 25,000 and drew a 4-month bill on the later. So on January 1st, 2019, John sold goods to David. So John is the seller. He has sold goods to David, who is the purchaser. So the amount is 25,000. So value of the good
25,000.
is 25,000. And he drew. Who drew? John has drew a 4-month bill on the later.
Later.
Okay. David accepted the bill and returned it to John. Okay. So David have accepted the bill and returned it to John.
On 3 February.
On 3rd February, John got the bill discounted at 6% per annum. So on this date, January 3rd, this drawer have taken his bill to the bank and get his bill discounted at the rate of 6%. Okay, the bill was duly met on due date. Past journal entries in the books of John,
Ma'am,
David, and bank.
ma'am, I have a doubt.
Tell me.
Ma'am, did he paid the bill before the due date?
See, the bill was duly met on the due date. The bill was duly met on the due date. That means on the due date, the drawer has paid the amount.
The
Did you go to? See the last point. The bill was duly met on the due date.
it was met
Okay.
on the due date, but he got discount in February itself.
February has discounted his bill.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Now let us see the journal entries in the, you have to write journal entries in the books of John, David and the bank. Okay. Now let us see the journal entries in the books of John. Now give the first two journal entries. First two journal entries. So David, John sold goods to David.
David's account debit to sales account.
David's account data to sales account.
Sales account.
That is on January 1st. You have to write the year 2019, January 1st. David's account data to sales account, 25,000. Next, give the narration.
Being goods
Being good
sold
sale
on
price.
credit.
Yes, being good sold on credit. Very good.
Credit.
Now, give the another journal entry wherein David accepted the bill. The bill was due. John drew the bill and David has accepted the bill and returned to John. Give the journal entry.
John account debited to bills payable account.
What is that?
Bill receivable account debit
Yes,
to
bills receivable account data to
John.
John.
No. You are writing in the books of John. When you are writing in the books of
Bills
John, you need not
receivable account
mention
data to David
Receivable
account.
account debited
David account.
bills receivable account data to
David
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 account.
account.
See, when you are writing in the books of John, you should not mention his name in that account. You have to mention the other person's name. You are writing in the books of John. In the book of John, you have to write the details about the drawing. Okay. Now, bills receivable account data to David account. So what is the narration? You have to write.
Acceptable
Now, being acceptance.
bills for
Received for balance sheet.
4 months. Received for 4 months. Now the bill was discounted on February 3rd. John got the bill discounted at 6% per annum. On February 3rd. On February 3rd, what is that? The bill was discounted at the rate of 6%
per annum.
per annum. Now you have to calculate the amount of discount.
25,000, 6%, ma'am.
Okay, 25,000 into 6%. 6%. See, the bill is 4 months due. 4 months bill. It is a 4 months bill. Already 1 month was over.
yes.
Yes. Still 3
1,500.
months are left. Now
Yes.
you have to take the 3 months by 12 months.
Ma'am, 1,600, ma'am. Oh, sorry, 1,500.
What is it? How much?
1,500.
25,000 into 6%.
Yes, ma'am, 1,500.
1,500. Okay. 1,500 into 3 by 12.
3 by 12. So
How much? How much is the amount? You calculating or not?
Calculating, ma'am.
Okay. Hope it is 375.
Yes, ma'am.
375. This 375. So 375 is the amount discounted by bank. Now you have to pass the journal entry. Okay. Will you tell or shall I give the journal entry?
Bank account data, discount
Yes.
account data,
Yes.
to bills receivable.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Bank account data. You have to give the amount, that is 25,000 minus 375. 25,000 minus 375. What is the amount? 24,625. $22,625. Okay.
मैम ये 1500 कैसा आया मैम?
What ma?
1500 कैसा आया?
1500?
कैसा आया?
6%.
6%. 25,000 into 6% means 1500.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. 1500. So on that 1500, it is for only for 3 months. Already 1 month passed away.
Yes.
So bill was
Yes,
sent
ma'am.
to bank for discount on
Yes.
February 3rd. Already 1 month over. Still 3 months were remaining. So 3 by 12. 3 months by 12 months. 375. Is it okay for you?
Ma'am,
Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Shall I proceed?
Ma'am, what is the
Ah.
journal entry? Bank account debit to?
Bank account data. So I'm writing here. Once see. So you have seen all these calculations. Based on these calculations, I'll be giving the amount.
Yes,
See
ma'am.
one. Bank account. So February 3rd, you have to mention the date. February 3rd. Bank account data.
discount account data,
Bank account data. How much is the amount?
25,000. 25,000.
24,625.
Yeah, ma'am. 24,000.
Discount account data.
375.
375 to bills receivable account data. Sorry, bills receivable account 25,000.
25,000.
25,000. Got it?
Yes.
So bills, the narration you have to write is bills discounted at the rate of 6% per annum. Bills discounted at the rate of 6% per
6% per
annum.
annum.
Okay. Right?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let us see the another one. Journal entries in the books of David.
David.
Okay. Have seen journal entries in the books of John. Now we shall see journal entries in the books of David.
David.
Now give the narration, give the entries. January 1st, 2019.
Purchase account data,
Yes. Purchase account data to
John account.
John
John.
account. Okay, very good. Narration,
Being goods purchased.
being goods purchased on credit.
Credit.
Okay. So on January 1st, on the same day, David accepted the bill and returned it to John. Now, what is the entry you have to pass?
What, ma'am?
What is the entry?
Bill receivable account debit to John's account.
No.
Okay.
John account data to bills
Bills
payable.
receivable.
No.
Sorry, bills.
John account data to
Bills
bills
payable.
payable account fund credits. So here on February 3rd, John has discounted the bill in bank. So for that, you need not pass any entry in the books of David, because David is not involved in this transaction. So you need not write any transaction with regard to the discount of the bill. Only John and the banker is having the transaction. John discounted the bill with bank. Okay. What? What mark? So John have discounted the bill with the bank. So in the books of John, you may be making the entry as bank account data to bank account data, discount account data to bills receivable account. But in the books of David, you need not pass any entry. But you have to pass the entry that the bill is met. So see, the bill was duly met on the due date. So what is the due date? Now calculate it. It is a 4-month bill. Now calculate the due date. From January 1st.
4th
April.
May.
Yes, 4th May.
Hmm.
May 4th. So on May 4th, the bill was met. So you have to pass the journal entry as bills payable account debtor.
John account.
Account debtor to
John account.
no. Here you are paying the cash. The bill was met.
Okay.
The bill was met. So you have to write as cash account. Someone has scribbled on this. Cash account. This is 15,000. 15,000. Okay. So you have to write the narration as paying the bill met. Paying the bill met. Okay. We need not write any entry in the books of drawing about the transaction on 3rd May, so 3rd February. So we need
Ma'am,
not
what
write
is
any
the
entry.
date of second journal entry in the books of David?
What, ma'am?
What would be the second one date, ma'am? First one is January 4th and third one is May 4th. What is the date of second one journal entry?
February 3rd, John got the bill discounted with bank.
Okay.
On 3rd February, John got the bill discounted at 6% per annum.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so pass these entries in these two books. What, ma'am? What? Now you have to pass journal entry in the book of banks, in the books of bank. Journal of bank. Now let us see the journal of bank. Journal of bank. So on February 3rd, you have to write. This is in the books of Journal of Bank. Journal of
Bank.
Bank. Okay, who is that scribbling on this? Journal of Bank. Do not scribble on the screen, please. February 3rd, we have to write as bills receivable account debtor to John. Bills receivable account 25,000. John, the bill was discounted. What is the amount we have mentioned in the books of John? Bank account. 24,625.
625.
625. So John to discount. Discount account. 375. 375. So bill discounted at the rate of 6% per annum. Bill discounted at the rate of 6% per annum. So this is the entry you have to make on February 3rd. And the bill was duly met on the due date. So this drawer has to pay the amount to bank. We need not pay the amount to drawer. That is the John. So John has already presented this in bank and he got discount from the bank. So now this drawee, that is David, has to pay the amount to bank, not to the drawer. Okay. Now you have to pass the journal entry on February 4th in the books of bank. So May 4th. So May 4th is the due date according to the calculations. May 4th, cash account debtor to bills receivable account. Bills receivable account. 25,000. On the due date, the amount was received by bank. So amount of bill received. Amount of bill received. Okay. You got this?
Ma'am, narration amount is received.
What, ma'am? The cash was received by bank. Cash account. Debtor to bills receivable account.
What do you want to understand?
Okay. Is it okay? Still you are having any doubt or what?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
So time is over. It is already 1 o'clock. So tomorrow I shall continue with discounted bill dishonored.
Okay.
Okay. Or shall I deal with it?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Tomorrow we shall see with discounted bill dishonored.
Yes,
So today bills discount met. Tomorrow we shall see that. Okay.
Okay, okay.
All might have understood all these entries.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, welcome.